So we can go ahead and get started. So this is, first of all, it's an open forum that we have for all of our members. So even though I do go through a formal training of the site just to teach you how to use the site, and also for those of you who are, doing any sort of a refresher if you haven't been on the site in a while. But it is also a open means of communication for you to really ask any questions of us as you see fit. If you don't feel comfortable unmuting yourself and just saying it out loud, you can also put it in chat, and Renee will be checking chat while we're going through the training, and then she can just let me know what the question might be, and I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has. So as we go through the training, feel free to interrupt. It's encouraged, and it's meant to be as interactive as possible. So I do a lot of talking. So, and Renee knows me, I'm a big talker. So
do you want us to use this raise hand feature?
You can if you want, but also Renee will keep an eye open on the chat. So if you wanted to just put a little question in on chat, you can do that as well, or literally just interrupt and say, hey, Robert, I have a question about this. And that's totally fine. So just kind of some of those house rules. The other house rules for the training would just be, if you're not speaking, just please mute if you don't mind. That would be great. And we'll be together for just about an hour today, just a little bit under an hour, until 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and for everybody in between. So I'm going to be sharing my screen out. Typically I'm on video. I don't know if everybody heard or not, but I'm not in a private location. I'm usually at home in my office. But you guys have caught me on vacation this week. So I'm actually at a coffee shop on the North Fork of Long Island. So I can't really go on video right now without showing you everybody who's in this place. So, but anyway, we do have these training sessions the last Thursday of every month. And we also incorporate webinars, informational webinars, into the curriculum for these open forums. So do keep an eye out for our emails. I hope that those emails are getting to all of you. I'd assume that they are, because everybody's here. But we try to send out reminders, and hopefully there's not too many reminders going out to people. But these are really great sessions, and they're really built for all of you. This is not for us to just chat away and hear ourselves talking. It's really meant for you guys as members to ask questions, and also get clarification on anything that you might have, and also let us know if there's features that you might want to see. We gain really valuable insight from these sessions. So please have this be as open a line of communication as possible. With that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen out. One moment. Okay, now, Renee, can you see my screen? Is it shared out okay?
Yes, everything looks good.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, thank you. All right, so everybody's probably very familiar with our homepage. This is just the Daniel House Club homepage. A couple of different things. You have the ability to select US dollars or Canadian dollars, depending on if you are one of our Canadian clients or not. That will display the price in Canadian dollars. When you check out, we only have the ability right now to check out in US dollars. That will be changing soon. But at least you can see the prices in Canadian dollars if you are a Canadian designer. Our logo will always take you back to this page, our homepage. And then there's a couple of things I just want to show you in the top menu bar here. One is the shop menu. This, of course, you can go through all of the individual categories and subcategories that we have. And then there's a couple of different sub-menus down here at the bottom. One is called Shop New Stuff. Those are for items that have been added that are brand new. Maybe some of you have seen my bi-weekly bulletin that goes out, which kind of gives information about new items that have been added, but you can always check this at any time, because we are literally adding new things daily. So, and oftentimes even new vendors recently. You can also look at items that are in stock. If all else fails as well, and you just are not finding the information that you need, always reach out to the concierge service, and we're happy to check availability for items for you immediately. There's also what we call our sourcing concierge. So if you have a particular item, or maybe you're just kind of lost and you don't really know where to look, you're not familiar with the vendors, you can click on the "We'll find it for you." And this actually takes you to just a form that you fill out with your name, first and last name, email address, phone number. And then also if you have links to particular products that you might like, or if you want to have an item added, you can also just put in a link here, or you can just upload a screen grab as well. Just make sure that we are aware who the manufacturer is, or at least from which website you took it from. We try to get this information on your readiness to purchase only because these get put into a queue when we're doing things like product requests. If we're adding new product to the site from one of our vendors that is not currently on the site, but one that you saw and you want added, we can then determine the prioritization of that for you. If you have to get something done right away, you're getting it done for a presentation later that day or tomorrow morning, we can know. If the project is 10 days out, then we can prioritize it accordingly. But usually we get back to you on the same day, or at the very latest the next business day. A couple other things here. You can look and see, okay, well, I don't really know exactly what I want to look at, but I do want something that looks exactly like that or maybe similar to this item. And then you can also just type in any free form details here as well and click submit. That will go to our concierge service, and it will tell you, once we reply back, we will send an immediate reply saying that we received your message and that we will get back to you either the same day or by the next business day. Now, if we go into the subcategories here, let's just say we want to look at sofas. There's a couple of things that you can look at here. So there's a whole bunch of different search filtering that you can look at. So you can look by vendor, you can look by price. You can also adjust the price by using this bar here, or just typing in the price that you want. Again, similar with the vendors, estimated lead time. So you can look at things that are more or less in stock with a 3 to 5 week lead time.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So when you're adjusting the price, that little toggle bar, is that the retail price or our price?
So that is going to be the retail price.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. And then color, same thing. Dimensional information. We are working on improving the dimensions to include things like oval, round, things like that, abstract, things like that. So that is going to be forthcoming, just so that everybody knows. But as long as we have data for things like seat height, seat depth, all of that from the vendor, that will be included, and that you can filter out accordingly. So definitely use our search filtering capabilities. They're very useful. When you click into a particular product page, you'll see here are all the photos that we have available from the vendor. And then you have a couple of things. So we have the title of the item. We have who the wholesaler is, who the vendor is. Also, I have this on Canadian pricing. I should probably just turn this off to US. Sorry, Canadians who are on. But this shows you your MSRP price because I am not logged in right now. So if I log in, it's going to show me now. This little guy, you guys have probably seen this little pop-up window. It is temperamental. We all hate it. We all want it to go away. Some people like it because some people actually do use Shop Pay to check out. If you don't want to use this, just click X and it automatically X's it out for you. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to put a number in there in order to log into the site at all. All you need is just your email and your password. And then you click sign in. It might take you through this thing where you have to say, okay, well, all these things. These are bicycles. I'm not a robot. And this is just to prevent fraud. But now you can see I'm a Pro Plus member, so it's going to show me what my member price is. It's 50% off of retail or MSRP or MAP, depending on how the vendor provides us with their pricing. We actually are looking, because there are some vendors who don't police their MAP pricing, and I'm sure all of you are very well aware of the ones who don't. And it also makes it very difficult for all of you to price things out and potentially have your clients shop you for the correct price. So we're working very hard to kind of ascertain with all of our vendors, are you providing us with MAP? Are you providing us with MSRP? And if that's the case, we are going to try to have both prices here as well as your member price, so that if there's ever an issue or a discrepancy, or you have a client coming to you saying, you know what, why can I see this online for $3,600, but it's showing as $8,900? Well, you'll have the data right there, and you'll have it directly on the website. You'll see what the MSRP, you'll see if it's MAP, if they have MAP, and also what your price is as a member.
Robert, quick question.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to use these images legally when we do a mood board or talk about any of these items in a blog post?
Absolutely. There's no restrictions to do that. The only thing that we have restrictions on is your ability to resell, formally resell, actually be a reseller for Daniel House Club. We don't have the ability to do that. Now, as a designer, you can resell, obviously, and be tax exempt, etc., as an individual or with your company, but we don't allow you to be a reseller. But yes, you can absolutely use the imagery and any information that you have on here. There's no restrictions on that. Then we also have description information.
Robert, I'm so sorry. I have a question about that.
Sure.
So can you elaborate on the difference? You said we can resell to our clients, but we can't be a reseller. The reason I'm asking is we are in the process of opening a teeny tiny little, like 600 square foot studio. Our intention is really just to meet clients there. But
Yep.
I would like to be open like one day a month or one day a week. And if somebody comes in off the street, I would love the ability to sell them something from Daniel House. Is that not allowed?
No. Absolutely. That's fine. What I'm trying to explain there is that, let's say you were a reseller for Cravat, and
Okay.
you had Cravat as, you had a shop, a Cravat shop that you were reselling Cravat for only. That's what I'm talking about. It's not that you're reselling it to your clients, it's that you're reselling it to the public. So kind of like a retail shop, if you will.
But
That
we will
is
be doing that. That's
Yeah.
we-
But you're gonna be doing it as part of an interior design project, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we have a big following on Instagram, and ultimately my goal is to be like, okay, guys, we're going to be open on this Saturday this month. If anybody wants to come in, we have access to beautiful accent chairs, sofas.
Yep.
So if somebody comes in, and we do consult with them, we do sort of a consulting thing on the spot.
Yep.
Are we able to order?
Absolutely. That's not a
Okay.
problem at all.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you.
Yep. Sure. And then just moving on down in the product information page, we have, weight, dimensional information. We have even more specifications if we had any from the vendor. Also, what the shipping policy is. So that's our shipping policy, because we handle all the shipping for you. And then also what the return and damage and defect policy is. This is very important because it varies by vendor. And Daniel House Club, all that we do is enforce the policies of our vendor partners. We do not have our own return policy ourselves. So if you're, before you send this off to a client, just make sure that you're looking at what the return policy is. Many of our competitors in this space, I won't name them by name, but many of our competitors do not even allow returns at all. So, we do allow them as long as the vendor allows them. And typically they have a restocking fee that's associated with them, but the ability to return something is huge, as everybody knows right now. primarily because of the age that we live in with online retail and e-commerce. So, so I think that's a very important point. And just make sure that before you, and we'll go through this in a little bit, before you create your project and your board and you share that out with your client, that you're actually looking at something that if a return is very important to your client, that it actually is returnable. Otherwise, if it's down the road and they get it and they don't like it, or it doesn't fit, or whatever the case might be, and it's not returnable, our hands are literally tied. We can't do anything. So just be aware of that. And then damage claims, I think, is also something that I want to mention, and we can talk about this when we get to a Q&A session in a little bit. But very important to note any damages or defects. Now, you're probably saying, well, Robert, sometimes these things get delivered. We don't do an install for, 3 months or 2 months or a month or 2 weeks. How are we going to know within 5 days of receipt if something has been damaged or is defective? Good question. What you can do is on the proof of delivery form, you can just stipulate that delivery of these items is dependent on the items not having damage. And you can just indicate that on the proof of delivery form so that once you do open these items and there is damage or a defect potentially, you are covered. And so we have the ability to go back to the carrier or to the delivery agent and say, hey, they did notate this on the proof of delivery form, and that way we don't have to go directly to the vendor. So our process for managing damages and defects is that, first of all, we handle all of that for you. So you don't have to go to the vendor directly, nor do you have to visit any of their showrooms. We handle all of that for you. So you literally just shoot us an email, you state what the issue is, you provide photos of the item. It's also very important to provide packaging photos. That way they can determine whether or not it's actually a damage or a potential defect. But we can get into this in a little bit. I just want to let people know that there is a way that you can accept something and still be within the guidelines of the 5 days of receipt. So you can stipulate on the proof of delivery that it's all dependent on the fact that these are going to be delivered damage-free and defect-free, and that will cover you completely. All right. So we've gone through the shop page. Now we can look at a couple of things that we've done new here. We do have a new stuff link here. We also have an in-stock link. So we have it here in the drop-down menu as well as in the top menu. And then you also have a similar menu and sub-menu for our vendors. So what we've done is we've put together some top vendors. Now, these are typical vendors that people have been purchasing from, our members have been purchasing from. And then we also are starting a artisan vendor list. This kind of fits with our ethos as a company that we're not only trying to make sourcing easy and as simple as possible, but we're also trying to find you unique items, things that you can't just find on any other website or any of our competitors' websites for that matter. So we've started to build this out a little bit, that you'll see a couple in here. Khalida Takani, she's formerly My Moroccan Rug, beautiful custom Moroccan rugs of any size. They do, they have a lead time, but they are absolutely stunning. She showed at the IFCC show here in New York this past year, and I just fell in love with her work. Rug and Kaleem, some of you may be familiar with them. They're actually a vintage rug dealer here in New York City as well. Fernway Woodworking, these are a couple that we just added recently. So I encourage everybody to just kind of have a look at some of these artisan vendors. Now, the discount policy is a little different because these folks are not they're not wholesalers, excuse me. So their discount structure is a little different. However, they do offer a discount for people in the trade. So have a look at them, and we will be expanding this. This might also be an area where we start expanding when and if we start expanding to retailers. We have been thinking and toying with that idea for a while to expand to retailers. Now, who they will be, we don't know. But this would likely be the area that they would be in as well, because their discount structure would definitely be different than a wholesaler as well. And then here's a link to all of our vendors. So you can just go to any one of the vendors here. And then there's also, similar to the sourcing concierge for product, there's also a sourcing concierge for vendors. So if you work with a particular vendor, let's say, that is not in our vendor mix, you can, again, just fill out this form and give a link to their website and say, hey, Robert, or hey, Renee, any chance we can get this vendor on board? Or are you looking at this vendor? Whatever the case might be, we're always open to looking at new vendors, and we will definitely coordinate with our vendor management team to see if it's somebody who might be a good fit for us. The trade program, this is just all of the information that you already know about us, the different types of plans that we have available, why they are good, why they might fit you, etc. And then once I'm logged into the system, you'll see your name up here. So you'll see Hello Robert rather than just the login button. And you'll see a couple of different things here. You'll see one that says projects, one that says account. If we go into account first, this will show you all of your orders that you placed, basically. So it gives you an order summary, and then you can click on the hyperlink of the order number to look at what the order details were and are. There's also a link here to go to your account. So if I wanted to go and upgrade my account or change the address on my account, I can do that by just clicking on the red button here. And then I can also look at my dashboard. And what my dashboard will show me will be all of my projects. So I can click on that link here. Or I can also go up to the top menu here on the right and just click projects here, and that will take you to your dashboard screen as well. So my recent projects that I have, this will show you your 4 most recent projects. It's not going to show all of your projects. I only have 2 that I've created here. And then it will also show you all of the carts that you've created as part of your projects, unless they've been deleted or archived. And you have the ability to delete by just clicking on the little trash can icon here, or you can go into the project itself and archive it, and we'll show you how to do that in one moment. But this will show you a listing of all the carts that you've created, from which board and which project it was created from, also who the recipient was, the date that it was sent, as well as what is your client going to be paying for that particular cart, and also what your profit is. And we're going to go through how to create that and also how to change that as well. A couple of things also on this cart summary sheet. You'll see some grayed out icons here, as well as some bolded icons. So when you click on or hover over, the icon that's bolded, you'll see, okay, well, this has been viewed by my client now. It's also been purchased by my client. And then also it has shipped. Now, if that wasn't the case, it would just be grayed out and it would say not viewed, not purchased, and not shipped. So this is a good way to kind of go in if I have way too many carts here, and I need to I'm not doing a good job at telling you guys how to organize yourselves here by having these many carts here, but I need to go in and actually delete some that have not been viewed or won't be looked at. Now, if you delete a cart, because carts are associated with your boards, basically, that will not delete the board. It's just going to delete that cart. So you don't have to worry about your board going away or your project going away, nothing like that. It will just delete that cart that you created. So I want to create a new project.
Robert?
Yes.
Sorry. This is Allison. I was just wondering if I could ask a question. Does your customer have to buy directly? Like I guess I wouldn't want my customer buying from you guys, because I would need to manage all the tax implications and manage all that. So them checking directly out through your site is a concern for me.
Yeah, so you have one of 2 ways to actually purchase. One is that you can just purchase directly with your discount your full discount and check out yourself, and then you can invoice the client offline. Or you can also share a cart, share a portion of your discount, and have the client pay directly to or through the Daniel House website. So you can do either. Now, one thing that we are looking to do, and that'll be coming up very soon, is we're going to be looking to customize the checkout experience. So when they get an email, it's not going to say Daniel House Club. It's actually going to say Allison, your name or your business name. And then down the line a little bit, we're actually going to make it almost like a white label where it can be completely customized with your label, your logo, customizing your invoices, etc. So that it's basically just kind of powered by Daniel House Club, but it will have your name on it. Right now, it only has Daniel House Club's name on it.
Got it. Okay, but we can do it. We can just use it behind the scenes to do all the ordering like we would for another website or how we otherwise do ordering, and then just invoice them separately.
Correct.
So this would be for our viewing and not for theirs. Okay.
Correct. Now, the one thing I would caution everybody to with that scenario that you're talking about, Allison, is, we do a commission payout based on what you're sharing with your client versus what you're not sharing with your client, discount wise. So if you're utilizing your entire discount and not sharing it out with your client on the site, we don't know what that offline transaction is. So there's going to be no commission to pay out because you're ostensibly using your entire discount. So just know that. And one of our members did bring this up as a potential issue because she pretty much does everything offline. She doesn't share any of her carts or anything with her clients. So we are looking to actually work that in a little bit so that if there is an offline transaction, that you would still get a commission payout. And so we're trying to kind of figure out how to do that, because the only way right now that we can look at that is if it's a quote unquote online transaction with your client checking out completely. Does that make sense?
Question, Robert.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand that because I guess I'm not familiar with the commission stuff yet because I typically do share discounts with my clients. So I would be doing that. But because I want to collect taxes and I would want more of the white glove experience and not necessarily be, they're going to be getting stuff from different places. And I wouldn't want them. I don't want to send them to a website to check out basically right now. Yeah. No,
I completely get it. And I think there's a lot of people that are in that boat as well. So
just for some clarity. So the two ways to do it, you can send your client the link, and in which case they check out, Daniel House cuts you a commission. The alternative is you buy the stuff yourself, you mark it up and you sell it to your client outside of Daniel House, in which case you wouldn't be giving us a commission, obviously, right? Because we're just marking it up and that's how we make our profit.
That's correct.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So you can either make your profit by, doing it yourself or having Daniel House cut you into a certain amount of the profit, whatever the case might be. So, or you could ostensibly do both, if you work it correctly. So
because if we buy it through the website, you control, if the customer buys it through the website, you control what our customer's going to pay. You decide what they're going to pay.
Right. And we also automatically know how much you've paid for it, as well as how much of your discount you've shared with the client. So whatever portion of your discount you don't share with the client,
you cut it back to us. I see.
Exactly.
So it really is the same either way.
Yep. Yeah.
What's more popular? What do your clients typically do, Robert? Do your designers typically have the clients pay through the link, or do they just buy it themselves?
Well, there's a couple of advantages, and I'm not trying to tout Daniel House Club here at all. I'm just trying to give you guys some options. There's a couple of advantages, not only because some junior and new interior designers are not as familiar or not as comfortable with a large fee. And so they want to make some money off of the product themselves for the project. Mm-hmm. And so it allows them a way to do it in a way that it's completely transparent to the client, because the client knows that they're buying it at some sort of a discount, but they don't know exactly how much. So it allows them to kind of be a little bit more discreet about how much they're getting for their fee. But furthermore, down the line, once you're disengaged from a client, that's where this, I think, comes in very, very handy for people to be able to just check out through us. Because if they have a warranty issue down like a year down the line, when they've disengaged from you, they don't need to contact you at all. They can just contact Daniel House and we'll handle the claim for them. So, because we have all their information, we have the transaction, we have everything.
That's
so
amazing.
It just makes it a lot easier post transaction, post engagement with them to do that. So just be thinking about those things as you move forward. That's all. Any other questions around that? Okay. So creating a new project. If we click on new project, we literally can just put the information in here, put in the project name. Now here at the project level, I can just put in whatever I want to as far as how much of a discount I'm going to share with the client. If this is not of an issue, like in Allison's case, then you can just literally put 0 here because you're not going to be sharing this with a client anyway. You do have the ability to change this at any time as well. So it's not set in stone, it's not static. So let's just say I'm going to share 50% of my discount. So 50% of my 50% discount, which would then give me 25% profit and 25% discounts to my client. You do not have to put in a project budget unless you want to. So I'm just going to put in that. You don't have to put an FF&M budget either. You can if you want. We like to know the install month and year because if you ever come to the concierge and ask us for maybe like a replacement item or an alternative item, we know exactly what to look for when we're searching for you relative to your install date on lead times. So if you can be as accurate as possible with the install, that would be very helpful. And then also the site address, pretty basic information. And then you just click create project. And then this just gives you all the information that we just input. Also, it'll give you the project creation date here, which is important. And the reason I mention that is important is because the first time you create your very first project in Daniel House, there is a 30-day clock that starts immediately for you to get free standard shipping on all of your orders placed within the first 30 days. So just note that if for whatever reason you didn't see that or you didn't notate that in the information that we sent to you, just shoot Renee and I an email and say, hey, Robert, I didn't realize this, and I just had some projects that I created just willy-nilly. Can I still take advantage of the 30 days of free shipping? That's not a problem. Yep.
So I just placed an order for some furniture, like a personal order. And when I went to check out, there's the 4 options for how you want to actually physically obtain the merchandise. And the first one was like a drop ship, and I opted for that, and I'm just going to have it dropped at my receiver's warehouse. But I think I got confused, and maybe you just answered this question, but it said it was $0 for that option. But then in the description, it said this is going to run 15% of the total of your purchase, but I wasn't charged 15%. So is that because for the first 30 days it's free, but otherwise after 30 days, the drop ship is 15%?
That's correct. Now, one other thing I might ask you real quick, were you buying lighting during our lighting sale?
No.
Okay, because all the lighting just recently was on sale and had free shipping. So that's why I was just wondering about that, because that would explain that scenario.
But after 30 days, then when you do the drop ship to your receiver's warehouse, it is 15% of the total.
Yeah, always 15% flat rate based on the cart value, not on the MSRP, but on your cart value.
Right.
So that's a really important thing to note, because if you're purchasing if you're purchasing more than $5,000 in furniture, you will want to be at the Pro Plus level rather than Pro or even free, because the more you have a discount, the more you're also going to save on shipping. Does that make sense?
Can you speak to that a little bit about the different? Yeah. Is it you get a better discount on shipping if you're a Pro Plus member?
Yeah, because what you pay in shipping is based on what your cart value is based on your discount.
Oh, I
The
see.
higher your discount you have, the more you save on shipping, basically. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
have a question on that. What if we're giving the cart to our client?
Yeah.
Would then the 15% still be from us, or would it be from their MSRP?
It's not from the MSRP. It's always going to be from the amount that you shared with them. So if you only shared, 50% of your discount, they're going to pay the shipping on whatever that discounted price is, whatever you've decided to share with them.
So if we don't share anything with them, then it
Then
would
they
be
get
what
MSRP.
they're seeing, right? Okay.
Yep.
Got
Then it would be MSRP or MAP, depending on which is there. Yeah. Yep. All right. Okay, so I can go in and I can click on the edit project details and change any of those details that I just created. And then we also spoke a little bit about archiving projects. So once I click into the project, I can just click here and say, okay, I want to go ahead and archive this project now. I can click on that. I can also create a new board. So within the project, this is just look at the project as sort of an umbrella. And then you have multiple boards based on, it could be based on room, it could be based on vendor, it could be based on type of furniture. It really is however you want to organize your boards. So the boards, you can just click on the create new board link here, or click on new board up here on the top right. And I'm going to name the board, let's just say primary bedroom. Now, this is important because you can change your discount based on the board. It doesn't have to be the same discount just because you applied that discount to the main project. So if you're spending a little more time, for example, on a living room or an outdoor space, you can actually change the board discount however you see fit. And because we're creating carts from boards, that's important because you can actually change your discount however you see fit, or just use it the same and use a flat discount. Either way, but you do have the ability to change the discount at either the project or the board level. So I'm going to create the board now for the primary bedroom that is under that project that I just created. And then I can either click on the get started link here, or I can just go directly to my shopping menu. And I'm going to go look at ceiling pendant lights. And the first one here, which is the Asbury Park, I want to go ahead and add this to that project that I just created into that board. So rather than clicking add to cart, which literally just will add it to the cart here up on the top right, I'm going to click on save to project. And then I'm going to select the board that I just created. And then you can see it's been added now. So if I wanted to, I can go back here, click on view project, and it takes me right back to my project screen. And then I can also look at the board that I just created, and it has a little thumbnail there of the first item that I put into the board.
I have a question.
Sure.
So when we're making different boards, and you were saying you can give a discount per board, I know not all of the vendors offer the same discount, right? So like if we're on the Pro Plus and we're getting 50%, but then I think it's like Four Hands and maybe a couple others don't go up to 50%.
Yeah.
Then I'm just making sure I'm understanding. If we're giving them, let's say 25%, then on that particular item, we would be making 10%.
So a couple of things relative to Four Hands in particular, because they're probably the largest vendor that we have that doesn't participate in our full 40 and 50% discount. The largest discount you can get with Four Hands as a Pro Plus member, which is our top tier membership level, is 35%. However, we also subsidize all shipping for all Four Hands items at all times in perpetuity. So that's already a savings of 15% right there. So that makes up for the 50% as a difference. So you do have ostensibly a 50% discount. It's just in the shipping and also in the item itself. That is only for Four Hands. Most all of our other vendors are participating in our full membership tier. So you really don't have to worry about that unless you're doing a lot of ordering with four hands. And in that circumstance, what I would probably do is, if you're doing projects and you're ordering from four hands regularly, just create a four hands board under the project. And that way you are guaranteed to know what your profit margin is going to be on those particular products. And you're also going to get free standard shipping regardless on all of those items when you check out, or if you share it with your client. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does. Thank you very much.
Okay, cool.
Hey, Robert, another question in the chat.
Yeah.
Are we able to create a collection of items project for a client and share it with one link via an email with them?
It does not. Right now, you can share it. There is no clickability or anything else. It's literally just a view functionality. And what you would do for that is click on the share button here and then type in their email address, and then it would automatically be sent. Or you could click the copy link button here. And then you can also indicate whether or not you want to show the discount prices or not. And it will remind you here also what your current discount is and what you're going to be sharing that. So all they're going to be able to do is just look at it almost like an invoice, if you will, or a pro forma, before they're allowed to do anything. They'll only be allowed to do something if you actually create a cart from this menu. And I was just going to go through this and click on bill to client, or if you're just going to check out, just do bill to me directly. But you do have the ability to share it out as just a view function as well. So if we're going to want to make it more interactive and share this board out as a cart to our client, then we would just click bill to client. We would input their email address here. This still allows you the ability to change your discount. So there's 3 different areas where you can change your discount. One is when you create the project, or you can go back in and edit those details for the project, or at the board level, or when you've already created your cart from that board and you say, oh, you know what, I spent a lot more time on this, so I'm going to give them less of a discount. And you can make any changes that you want to here before you create the cart. You also have the ability to have them remove products or not. So by clicking or unclicking this, you will allow your client to remove products before completely checking out or not. You can also lock it down if you want to. And then you would click on select shipping. We obviously ship within the US and Canada. And then it's going to show residential curbside, expedited curbside, room of choice with packaging removal, and white glove. What are the differences? Curbside. Definitely recommend curbside if you're in a home where you're going to be doing an install, you have help available, or your clients can easily take these items in themselves. In a city environment, this is not recommended at all. They will just bring it to the threshold, and that's it. Expedited curbside, the same thing. However, these options are easily usable for small items, anything that's shipped via UPS, FedEx, etc. Room of choice with packaging removal. This gives you the option where the delivery company will actually schedule a delivery time with you. Now, they do that for standard delivery as well for larger items. But they will schedule the delivery time with you. They will bring the item into the room that you select, even if it's upstairs or in an elevator or whatever. And then they will also place it to where you want to have it placed, and then remove all the packaging from it. They will not do any assembly as part of room of choice with packaging removal. That is reserved for white glove, which is a full service delivery. So they do everything from, inspecting the pieces to removing all of the packaging materials. They also do assembly work with white glove. The only thing that they will not do is they will not do installation. And what I mean by that is, let's say you have book shelving and it somehow affixes to the wall. They're not going to affix it to the wall. They're going to assemble the bookcase and then leave it, and they don't do an actual installation. Does that make sense? All right. Then we would just click on preview cart. And I still have the option to go back and edit anything that I want to. So if I wanted to remove something, I forgot to put something in, I can go ahead and do that. If I know that all this is correct, then I can just click send. And then it'll say success, your cart has been sent. So what does your client get at that point? Well, when you enter their email address, they will get an email that says an account has been created for you. This is important because they don't need to create an account on Daniel House Club at all, period. One's already been created for them when you share this out with them. That's if they're going to be checking out through our website. So they will get an email that says this. Now, this is the email that we are currently working on to make it a more tailored experience for all of our members. So eventually this will have your name on it. And a little farther down the road, it will even be tailored to your logo and your liking as far as branding and things like that. Currently, it just has Daniel House name. So just familiarize your client to know that if they get something from Daniel House Club, it's from you. It is not from anybody else. So they get this email first. And then the second email that they get once it's been shared is they'll say a cart has been shared with you. And it says your designer has shared a cart. That's the email that they get. And they can easily just click on the view your cart, and then it takes them right to the cart. So it's very, very easy and efficient. Any questions about that?
I have a question. Are we able to share multiple boards at one time rather than them having, if we do it by room and there's 5 rooms, they would have to check out 5 separate times. Is there a way to bunch those together and send them at once?
That is forthcoming.
Okay.
Currently it's by individual board, and I know that's not optimal. But yes, that will be forthcoming because we do have more and more clients who are doing full homes that it just doesn't make any sense to have it individual boards to check out with. It did for smaller projects, but we know that that's not always optimal. So that will be forthcoming. I would imagine probably first or second quarter of this coming year.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure, no problem. So again, a little bit of a difference between creating cart and sharing it with your client to purchase versus sharing the information from the board. So the sharing is literally just going to show them a view of what's on the board itself. So if you're not physically present with them, this is a really good way to share information virtually with them, but they just won't have the ability to check out or do anything there. One of the other things that we are toying with doing is instead of sending a cart, because we have heard from a couple of our members that the insinuation of a cart is that decisions have already been made for them, for a client, and they're ready to go. That is not necessarily what the intent of the cart is, because they do have the ability to edit or make changes as they see fit. So to kind of change that perception, one of the things that we've toyed around an idea with is creating almost like a quotation that gets sent out to your client, and it would say quote. So kind of would like
that would be amazing.
Yeah, I've heard, I was just going to say, I would love to hear from all of you if you feel that that is something that would be beneficial. And it sounds to me like it would be.
For sure.
Okay. And this is something that, when we did the creation of a cart, I know this word is batted around a lot, but we kind of are disrupting the process by which a typical engagement happens with an interior designer and a client, in the sense that typically there is a quotation that goes out, and then the client has the ability to kind of collaborate and say, yes, I want this. No, I don't want this, rather than receiving a cart where it's just kind of like, okay, this is what we've done, but yet you still do have the ability to edit here. But I think it's, again, just a perception issue. So it's a different way to make, I think, interior designers think, and also a different way to make clients think. But I think to make it a little easier, that might be something that we're looking to initiate soon. So
yep, we got a few votes in the chat, and they prefer quote or estimate.
Awesome. That's great. Okay, good. So that is really it. Now, if I wanted to delete this board, let's say we're not going to be working on the primary bedroom, I can just click on delete board. It does give you the prompt. Are you sure you want to do that? I just click OK. And then this board has been deleted. And as you can see, there's no boards for this particular project now. So I do have the ability to then archive this project, or you can delete it altogether if you want to. But I recommend archiving. It doesn't hurt you to archive projects. You still have access to them. So if a client decides to engage with you, you can just click on the archive button here, and it takes you right back to all of your archive projects. All right. We have 7 minutes. That is about it as far as I wanted to go over relative to functionality on the website. I would like to open it now to any questions that anybody might have. So feel free either to put questions in the chat or just feel free to unmute yourself and ask away.
I have something.
question.
Absolutely. I think Maureen, you beat Allison by a couple seconds.
Allison. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead, Maureen. No, go for it.
So this is not really a question as much as it is a suggestion. So we're a boutique design firm, but there are 11 of us on this team, and we use a lot of different softwares, like a lot. We use MyDoma, we use Design Files. Now we're going to be using Daniel House. And one of the things when we found Daniel House that I was kind of hoping for would be the capability to get rid of design files, because we pay like $400 a month or something crazy because of all the different accounts we have on design files. So what I would love to see, and maybe this is ambitious, but if there was a possibility, and maybe it's in the way future, but creating an actual design board, like a presentation tool via Daniel House, because I'd love to spec everything through Daniel House. Just put it on a board, have the background removing tool, make it pretty, and then present that to our clients so I don't have to pay for 2 different softwares. That would just be amazing. Just the thought.
Yep, absolutely. We've actually spoken with Design Files to talk about a potential integration. We also are speaking with MyDoma as well.
Awesome.
And we haven't reached out to Canva. I don't know how many people are using Canva still, but we'll see about that. Yes, we are looking to upgrade the sort of presentation aspect of our boards and our projects to make it look a lot better, and also potentially to have a rendering tool as well. So you can actually dump it into a setting and have it be visually beautiful, as well as just looking at it at sort of a cart or a sort of quotation or a quota, an estimate level. That will be forthcoming probably, I would say, 2nd or 3rd quarter of this year.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yep.
Robert, should I put that, we have that link for the Clipper tool. Should I put that in the chat?
Yes, I will note. Yeah, thank you for reminding me about that, Renee. So we do have you can clip items from Daniel House and use it within Design Files. So that makes it a little bit easier. There's a clipper tool that you can use, which easily allows you to clip things and put it into Design Files from Daniel House. So Renee just put the link in there. If you want to copy it, feel free, and then start using that. Hi, Allison.
Hi, sorry. My question was product samples.
Yeah.
Do you recommend that we work with you to get samples of fabric or things, or go directly to the vendor if we're trying to get a sample of fabric?
So one of the reasons why you remember is that you go through us for everything. So we will coordinate all of that for you. Now, some vendors do have limitations. Like I've had a couple of designers that have come to us and said, I need 120 samples. Well, I don't think that's going to fly with the vendors. Some of them have limits of like 10, 20 or so. Some of them don't, but some of them do. And if they do, we will let you know immediately.
So that's us. We legitimately asked for 120 rug samples, which I know sounds crazy, but there are 11 of us on the team, and we all have our own kits that we like to bring to our clients' houses. And so I would really love all the designers to have 10 or so of their favorite, most loved rugs. And so
Sure.
maybe there's a way we can pay for them. I'm happy to do that, but I definitely want the ability to have the ones that we know we're going to use over and over again, even if it's that many.
Yeah, and like I said, not all vendors have those stipulations. So, we will go into the vendor and say, hey, this client wants 120 samples. And if they don't have any problem with that, then we don't have any problem coordinating that. So,
Awesome.
I didn't realize that was you, Maureen. That's so funny. But yeah,
Which we
no,
are still working on, Maureen.
Thank you.
They've all been sent to the vendors, just we're waiting on confirmation.
I also, like, not to be a royal pain in your butt, I do hope that it will be fruitful it'll be mutually beneficial, but we need, like, that's just rugs. We need sofa
Yep.
samples. We need accent chairs if possible.
Yep.
We are a large team, and I do want that ability. And like I said, I'm totally happy to pay for it, but I got to figure out a way to get them.
Yeah, no, we're also in the process right now of kind of revamping our whole sample finish and swatch, not only the functionality, but also how designers come to us about that. So we want to make it a little bit easier. So like when you're on the product page or on a vendor page, you can just say, oh, I want swatches for all of these items or this particular item, rather than having to email us and say, hey, and I know, like, Maureen, you guys were so great. You put it like in one project board, which was wonderful, and that was very easy for us to be able to access. But we don't want you to have to go through that level of curation when you're just looking for, a swatch or a sample or multiple swatches and samples. So
Well, my other thought, Robert, and maybe this is taboo, I don't know, but like I said, I would really like to open our cute little boutique studio once in a while to our following and do like these design consultations in studio, like studio sessions, we might call them. And in which case that would be an opportunity for us to sell products.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so that's the other reason I would love to have all these samples on hand. So we have somebody that comes in, they only pay for 2 hours of design time in a studio session. Yeah, we didn't make that much money on the design fee, but we sold them a whole room full of furniture because we have the samples in hand.
Exactly. Yeah. And so one of the things we're looking at doing is, like, for our top vendors, having like the most popular fabrics that people use and having those in like a box that we can send out to our members. So these are all things that we're thinking about down the line. We don't want to limit you to that, of course, but if you're looking for suggestions, or if you're looking for things like in like certain trends and things like that come from market, either spring or fall, those are the kind of things that we're looking to do as far as a level of curation with swatches and sample finishes. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll definitely keep you all informed through our monthly bulletin and also over emails as well. So, but yeah, definitely looking to up the game on samples and swatches.
We have a question for tax, Robert. If a client purchases their items directly from Daniel House Club, is there any sales tax charge for the purchase since you're based in Oregon? Can you clarify?
Yeah, absolutely. So we currently do not charge sales tax on our website. The reason for that is that yes, we're headquartered in Portland, Oregon. Myself and Renee are actually on the East Coast, but we're headquartered in Portland, Oregon, which does not have a state sales tax. However, this coming year in 2024, we will have tax nexuses in other states where we actually sell product to people. In those circumstances, we will have to start charging sales tax. And in those circumstances, you will have the ability to provide us with either your tax exemption certificate or a resale certificate, and then also have the ability to turn on or turn off whether or not you want to charge sales tax for a particular transaction. So that will be forthcoming. I would imagine it will be those tax nexus in the other states that we have will probably be hitting in the first quarter for sure. But we will give everybody ample notice when that change happens. And it will be instantaneous on the website, so you won't have to do anything manually. Okay. Anything else?
Yes, my last question is, you said that this is a reoccurring meeting on the last Thursday of every month. Is it also at the same time, I would imagine, every last Thursday?
Absolutely. Noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and all times in between for all different time zones. Yes, same, and actually the same login as well. So we always have the same login. And yeah, same time, everything. Also, I just want to clarify for everybody, this is not the only means by which you can reach us, this open forum. If you feel that a one-on-one with us would be better with our concierge team, just email us and we're happy to set up one-on-one meetings with you by video, by phone, whatever makes sense for your particular needs. And we're happy to get those scheduled on our calendar. So just let us know. Okay. With that, we are at an hour. It's 1:03. I want to be very mindful of everyone's time. And I thank everyone for participating and also for attending. If you are a first-time attendee of our training, you're also going to get a $100 gift card from all of us today. So we will be processing that by the end of this week, I would imagine, or maybe the beginning of next. And that will be coming to you electronically to the email address on file on your account. So thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you in the club. Take care.
Bye, everyone. Happy New Year.
Yes,
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
All right, take care.